are going to go through a little drawing on your irrigation design. I'm going to plot one down similar to what is expected when you submit your assignment for the major project in irrigation. You can see I'm starting with a blank slate, blank piece of paper, and we will get started and start creating a landscape irrigation design here. At this point here, I've found my property lines. I've put them down. Property line on the west, property line on the east. We have the highway out here. We have our driveway, sidewalk, sitting area at the front, and the front pavers in front of the window. There's your door, garage entrance, and there's the large front window. We're using 1/8 inch scale. So for each one, 1/8 of an inch. For each is 1 foot. And that's the scale that I'm using. So that's the scale that I'm going to write down on the drawing. Okay. So now I'm going to proceed to put in the landscape beds and the existing plant material. All right, I'm not taking a ton of time representing the plant material, but part of the irrigation design here is going to be calling for some drip irrigation on the front beds. So I am, you can see I'm actually doing these symbols pretty quick. However, I do want them represented because I have to know where I'm going to be running the drip irrigation. So right now I've got the property line set up. I've got the main landscape bed that's already existing in this property set up, and I'm just putting in some rough plant material so we know where I'm going to be at for heads and for pipe placement. All right, so at this point I have all the plant material in. I think it's in. All the plant material's in. There's some trees, there's some hydrangeas, the boxwood hedge, there's a dwarf hinoki, there's a long hedge in the back here. There's a couple three medium-sized trees over the corner of the property, and the rest of the area here is all turf. There's the driveway going into the sidewalk. So now I'm going to start preparing to place my heads. I'm going to have more than 3 zones in this one here, but I'm going to start placing the heads, and then we'll be back to show you where we're at from that point. All right, at this point, what I've done is I've created I've got a few zones here, and I've decided to play around with the RVAN unit from Rainbird and setting the radius at 10 feet to see how it will work out. And it works out nicely. It's just that to do the whole property, it's going to use a lot of heads as compared to going to something like the 5000s down in the large area. But I'm going to try it to see how it works with the RVANs. In this particular zone, you can see I've done the head-to-head coverage. You can see the circles are going in. This zone's got nice coverage, and I know that I can run on this unit. There's 12 heads. I know that I can run that with the maximum gallons per minute that's available because I've done the calculation, and to run this zone actually runs it at 8.32 gallons per hour. So it's more than, or gallons per minute, it's more than adequate for the water that's available. So I'm going to play around with the next ones and see where we go, and then I'm going to run my lines and my valves. All right, so I'm not quite done. I got some more work I want to do to it, but I wanted to give you an idea of where I was at in a short period of time. And it wasn't very neat. I wish I would have done it a little bit neater, and I'm hoping that you guys can do it a little bit neater than what I've done. So some of the things that we should be doing on our drawing. First of all, look at the nice thick border on the outside. There should be a nice, consistent, thick border on the outside. On my right over here, there's a legend. That legend corresponds towards everything that's on the drawing. The other thing that's not labeled in here are the head labels, and that's something that I would do on another sheet, but you can certainly implement your head symbols in here so they're known by the drawing. You can see zone 1 is done in baby blue. Zone 2 is done in magenta. I got a great selection of colors. Zone 3 is done in orange. Zone 4 is in green. There is a main line going over towards the northeast side of the property that runs, it's this dotted line, and it actually bores underneath the cement and then locks into this manifold on this side for future irrigation. So there's red, blue, and pink over here, which could be zone 5, 6, and 7. The heads that I've chosen on here are the Arvan heads. It's not really practical as far as cost-wise, but matched precipitation rate is really good. We can get a lot more done with less heads if we're using something like a Rainbird 5000 rotor. However, these do work. The next thing that I'm probably going to do is put some drip irrigation into this zone in here. And there'd probably be 2 zones. So we probably go with drip irrigation in there. But I wanted to show you where I was at. We've also got a scale. A scale is important. So this one is 1/8 inch equals a foot. There's a scale down at the bottom there that I can take my scale now and go in and measure it and be able to find exactly how much pipe I need as far as ordering and for quantity takeoff when I'm going to order the materials. So this is along the lines of what we're looking for your project. This took me maybe an hour in time. A couple of things you're going to notice in here as we're talking. You're going to notice here that the orange and the green, zone 3 and 4, you might ask, why am I running it so close? And the reason I'm running it so close is if you're in a practical situation, and I've got a zone down here, and I'm already trenching a hole here, I may as well follow and bury the second pipe into the same hole, into the same trench, and have two pipes in that trench. Makes it a lot easier. It might cost a little bit more in pipe, but it's going to definitely save you a lot more time and labor. So if you have an opportunity to double up a hole or a trench with more than one pipe, then it's certainly advantageous towards saving cost and labor. All right. So guys, again, this is along the lines of what we're looking for. I'm going to finish it up still, do some work on it over the next couple of days, and maybe submit another option to you for next week. But you can see it's not in-depth and intense. What you'd have to do with this is in the outline that was given at the beginning of the semester, you're also going to have to give information on all the pieces that are required. So what type of head are you using? What type of nozzle are you using? So, and these ones here, we're going to be using a Rainbird 1800 head mist body, and we're going to be using the Arvan rotor nozzle on it. So I'd have to document that. Then I'm going to be using the swing joints that we've talked about, the quick connect swing joints that are going to attach to the 1 inch and 3/4 inch pipe. So that's the kind of information that you're going to have to supply that's going to accompany this. All right. I'm hoping this is helping you out. We'll continue and make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to submit a nice working drawing.